come along with me for a tour of the Gordon Smith Guitars UK factory, and maybe we'll just pick up a new one of these while we're there. Who knows? Let's get into it. So I've owned and played Gordon Smith guitars for well over a decade now, and in around 2020 I received the incredible honour of becoming a Gordon Smith Guitars artist. And for those 5 years I've played this absolute beauty, the Gordon Smith GS2 Deluxe. It's been with me all around the country, all through Europe, and it's took an absolute beating and still sounds and plays as good as the day she arrived in the post. Now, as any touring guitarist will tell you, it's always safer to have at least 2 guitars so that if you have an issue, you have a spare that you can call upon. So earlier this year, I got in contact with Doug and Sam and the team at Gordon Smith Guitars to spec up something a bit new and tasty. So let's jump in the van and we'll head on over to Rushden, and you never know what we might find while we're there. So despite the absolutely gross weather conditions, we jumped in the van and hit the road, and we headed 2.5 hours west to Rushden, where the Gordon Smith Guitar Factory is located. And it's absolutely wild that this place is just so accessible from anywhere in the UK, and that's a really good bonus for when you're needing any repairs or service work done. So the first thing we did on arrival is we met up with Sam, who looks after the showroom here at Gordon Smith Guitars, and he was gracious enough to take us on this incredible tour of the factory. Now, for those of you who are not aware, Gordon Smith Guitars was founded in 1974 by John Smith and Gordon Withen. Now, the company was run in the following years in a small workshop in Partington, Manchester, by John, his wife Linda, and Chris Smith, no relation. The guitars were absolutely renowned for their quality, their playability, and their unbelievable value for money. Now, this remained the same up until around 2015, when John, Linda and Chris finally got their much earned retirement and sold the business to Doug, who owned Auden Guitars, another UK company renowned for making incredible quality bench grade acoustic guitars. Now, Doug was very keen on keeping those core values, but also simultaneously taking the business in new directions and improving upon things in very tasteful ways. And I think Doug has struck an excellent balance. When you look at pro lines and custom shop builds from the renowned big manufacturers, it just emphasizes how good value these Gordon Smith guitars are. Now, these 2 smaller rooms here essentially represent the custom shop side of the business, where they're making specific custom builds. They can also do special inlays, special colors, almost anything that you could desire. And these 2 larger CNC machines are what make the initial cut of all the stock range bodies and all the stock range necks. So the output has grown several fold from the original facility. Now, the body and neck cut are essentially where machinery intervention ends. The guitar build process from this point on is all by hand. So after the rough cuts are done by the CNC machine, the bodies and the necks then come into this facility to be hand finished, hand sanded, hand shaped, and then have the frets installed. Moving into the in-house painting facility, which is purpose-built and can essentially color match anything that you provide that you would like your guitar to be colored. They have an infinite amount of color options. And it was evident as we walked around the factory that there was a big emphasis on quality, on cleanliness as well. This is a very clean factory, which you do not see very often, especially working with things like wood, which is naturally a very dusty and dirty environment. This factory was ridiculously clean. The only problem with coming to this factory is you want to take every single shape of guitar home because they're just incredible. And onto the final finishing room where the frets are dressed and leveled, the necks are finished, and also the pickups are made in-house in this room as well by Elliot and his skilled team. Now, as I was walking around the factory, I was met with nothing but smiles, but friendliness, by helpfulness, and it was just amazing to see. Sam here is showing me some custom inlays that were made for a customer in memory of their lovely dog, which was so sweet. So here's where the finished bodies and finished necks await their final assembly. And at the end of the factory tour, it was lovely to see Doug again. Doug was really friendly and gracious and even took the time out of his really busy schedule to talk with me, and even had a really nice compliment about how I keep my guitars very clean. And then, of course, the moment of truth, the moment that I've been waiting for, the big reveal, this custom T Deluxe. I had resisted asking for pictures of the final build, so to make this moment even more amazing. And it absolutely surpassed my expectations. What an absolutely stunning guitar. So it was nice to have a playthrough of the guitar and a nice cup of tea. And even though this was a Friday afternoon, there was absolutely no pressure from the team hurrying me out the door. I was afforded all the time in the world to have a real good play through this guitar, as well as geek out on some other guitar facts. Sam is extremely knowledgeable about the guitars and about the business, and you can see his passion for the job as well, which really resonates well. And that was evident throughout the business as well. And isn't she an absolute beauty? Now, as always in these situations, you always kind of forget everything that you know how to play, and you just don't know what to play. It's just one of those things. It's a bit like red light syndrome when you're in a recording studio. But my word, did this guitar sound good. Clean and distorted as well. And then, of course, it was no surprise to see that it was still absolutely tipping it down with rain, and we started the long slog back home. So that's it, and this is it. I hope that little tour was enjoyable for you. I didn't want to give away too much because, of course, I'd encourage you to go and have a look for yourself to see these amazing guitars being built by a really great group of people right here in our own backyard. And if you fancy getting your own Gordon Smith guitar built, head on over to gordonsmithguitars.com to see the full range that they do, see all the customizable options. First thing on the agenda for me is to get a Damasio locking strap fitted to this beauty to make sure that I never drop it and make a nice little battle scar. A huge thanks to Craig from bitsbox.co.uk for assisting with the filming. Now, if you're into Warhammer and you haven't heard of bitsbox.co.uk, have you been living under a pile of sprue this whole time? For any Warhammer parts requirements, head on over to bitsbox.co.uk. And of course, a huge thanks to Doug and Gordon Smith Guitars for continuing to support me as a guitarist on the road. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider subscribing because it really helps me out, and also you'll get notifications next time I upload a video. Maybe not as interesting as this one, but who knows. We'll see you next time.